What's going on, Speed Squad? Welcome back to the channel. Connor Speed 6 here. Thanks so much for tuning in today. As you know, we're continuing on Dirt 5. Again, a huge thank you to Codemasters and everyone at Dirt 5 for getting me this early access to give to you guys. I've had a lot of fun so far. Today we're going to be looking into the cars to take a look at the full car list that we can see right now. I'm not sure if this is going to be the end-all be-all of the cars. But I can see all of the cars that I can choose right now to select for all of my playgrounds routes. So let's jump right into it. But before that, please, if you would, be sure to leave the video a like and subscribe to my channel. It would mean a really lot to me. I put a lot of work into this stuff, so I really appreciate you guys doing that for me. That would be fantastic. But yeah, let's get right into the cars. So as you can see, we've got different themed cars: 80s rally, 90s rally, classic rally, cross raid, formula off-road, modern rally, pre-runners, rally cross, rally GT, rock bouncer, sprint, superlight, and unlimited. So let's dive right into the deep end here and get into the 80s rally cars, which very surprisingly has a BMW M1 Pro Car Rally. I'm used to only seeing this car on the road circuits. But it's great there, so it has to be great here. That car is absolutely beautiful. Moving on to one of the most iconic rally cars of all time, the Ford RS 200 Evolution. Fully equipped with big old fat rally lights on the front, big old chunky dirt or mud flaps, and that always spectacular roof intake. That is awesome. I love that car so much. Next up, one of the most successful rally cars in history, the Lancia 037 Evo 2, mid-engine rear-wheel drive with 345 brake horsepower to the rear wheels. This car is an animal. I love it. I'm not sure what's going on with the carbon fiber in this little demo thing that I have here, but all of the cars, or most of the cars, are carbon fiber. I'm assuming they will have paint or paint jobs whenever the real game comes out. So yeah, just a little thing I noticed. Also, you see how the car's shaking a little bit. This again is before release, so there's still a lot of things that they're working on smoothing right now. But yeah, so just keep that in mind whenever we're going through this thing. Next up, the Lunatic Peugeot 205 T16 Evo 2 Group B rally car, all-wheel drive, 390 horsepower. This thing was an absolute stage killer. A lunatic to drive, super short wheelbase, tons and tons of power. That's going to be really, really fun. You see the manifold right there in the side window. That is ludicrous. Next up would be the Porsche 959 Pro Drive Rally Raid car. This is an awesome all-wheel drive Porsche rally car. We are all most likely familiar with this car from other games. 400 brake horsepower to all four wheels in a Porsche is fantastic. That's definitely a car I want to drive. Moving on to 90s rally, one of the cars that I would love to import today, the Ford Escort RS Cosworth. That wing, that T-wing on the back just makes me so happy. I love this car. It's one of my favorite cars of all time. I'm a 90s rally car sucker. I love 90s rally cars, so having that there, that makes me happy, especially with that huge rally light on the front. Next up, another infamous car, the Lancia Evo 6 GSR, made famous by Tommy Mccann. Amazing car here. Very, somewhat successful, I don't want to say very, somewhat successful rally car in the late 90s, early 2000s. Awesome little addition to have too. Next up, the Peugeot 306 Maxi, which you saw in one of my last videos here showing you the custom route that I made. The Stadium Rallycross, that was a fun thing to do there. Front wheel drive, 300 brake horsepower. Tough to put the power down, but it's a pretty fun car to drive. My favorite rally car of all time, the Subaru Impreza S4 Rally, made famous by Colin McRae among others, but mostly Colin McRae. The car is beautiful, massive wing, fat wide body on the front or on the sides, that beautiful front end that's aggressive, and those brick headlights. It's just, if I could buy one right now, I would. Moving on to classic rally. Anyone knows me knows that I love the Fiat 131, a Barth. They're beautiful little cars. Yes, they're basically just a bunch of squares and rectangles put together to make a car, but there's something beautiful about it. It's just a spectacular Italian car, beautifully designed. Next up would be the Ford Mustang GT Fastback rally car. I'm assuming this is a 70, 71. I could be wrong, I'm terrible with years of cars, especially American cars back in the 60s and 70s. Rear-wheel drive, 250 brake horsepower, and it wouldn't be American without the hood cutouts for the exhaust straight from the header. Am I right? That's a bit much. Next up, the Lancia Stratos, another mid-engine, rear-wheel drive Italian rally car that just murdered rally stages across the world. 265 brake horsepower. Very beautiful car. Extremely neat to see in this game too. I'm wondering if those light covers will be off for the game or not. We'll find out. The Porsche 911 SC RS Rally. This one, in comparison to the Rally Raid version, is rear-wheel drive, 290 brake horsepower. It's got that beautiful Porsche look, that gorgeous wing on the back, or rear spoiler, I guess you could call it. Just an awesome car too. Absolutely good addition to the game. Fantastic. This would be the Lafitte, X-Cross Raid. The Lafitte G-Tech X-Road. I'm assuming this is a French vehicle because Lafitte doesn't sound anything but French. Awesome car, truck, crossover. I'm not sure what to call it. Rear-wheel drive, 518 horsepower. Looks like it can drive over everything too, so that's going to be fantastic to have. Next up, the Mini John Cooper Works Buggy by X-Raid. We all know this car. Very cool rally raid vehicle to have. It is a rear-wheel drive Mini Cooper, 350 horsepower. That huge roof intake on the top. I believe that's a rear end or mid-engine vehicle too. Sorry about that. Yeah, I would assume so because the intake is back there. But yeah, very awesome car. Perfect for any terrain. Next up, the Peugeot 3008 Dakar Maxi. This would be a Dakar vehicle used throughout the world in different Dakar races. Awesome vehicle. Rear-wheel drive, 340 brake horsepower. Again, you see that spare hanging down there. I believe there's one on both sides. Yep, that's awesome. I think there's somewhere on that car that you crank and it drops down, but I'm not 100% sure. Next up would be the Porsche Mccann T1 Rally Raid. Compared to the regular Cayenne and Mccann SUVs, this is a little bit more extreme with the snorkel, all-wheel drive, 360 brake horsepower. Awesome car too. Next up is what looks to me just to be a Bmw X6, but it's built by Sony cars. The Racing BV6. This is another rally raid or excuse me, Dakar built vehicle. Pretty awesome there. Next up will be the Volkswagen Race Touareg 3, another rally raid or Dakar vehicle. Awesome four-wheel drive, 310 horsepower with that brush guard on the front. I love me a good Touareg. I've always liked Touaregs. That's awesome. I wish I could have one that looks like that though. Formula Off-Road. Now, this WS Auto Racing Titan is just built for one thing and one thing only. That's hill climbs. Where the hill goes about straight up like this and then inverts at the top. That's what this thing is for. All power, all-wheel drive, big chunky crawler tires on there to get the most traction up literally a cliff as possible. So interesting to see how that's going to go and what that's going to be for. Next, moving on to modern rally, starting out with the Citroen C3 Rs. Awesome car, all-wheel drive, 282 horsepower. Beautiful little kind of a rally cross or rally stage car. I don't know, I like the Citroen. I think it's a beautiful little car too. I like it a lot. The C3 is great. Next up would be the Ford Fiesta Rs. Great addition as well. All-wheel drive, 290 brake horsepower. Super light, so it's got lots of power, lots of grip too. Very well balanced little car. Awesome car to have. Next up, a car that I've never driven in any game before would be the Skoda Fabia Rally 2 Evo. Never driven this before. I have seen it. I know what it is. I don't know a lot about it, but again, an all-wheel drive 275 brake horsepower car. I'm eager to drive that. I think it's going to be a pretty cool car to have there. It's pretty light as well. The Volkswagen Polo Gti Rs. This car has seen its rounds on the World Rallycross Championship as well as the Global Rallycross Championship here in the US, which unfortunately is shut down now. Very, very cool car. One of my favorites that was on the Rallycross grid there, so that's awesome to have too. A Wild Air 12 Nick appears in chat. The Ford F-150 Raptor. I think this one's a little bit more aggressive than his. He was upset whenever he got it a little bit dirty the other day, so I can imagine this one's going to be a little bit worse. Next up, the Porsche Cayenne Trans-Siberia. Anything with Trans-Siberia in the name, probably you should assume that it's going to be able to drive over everything, including your grandma. So this is an all-wheel drive, 385 brake horsepower Porsche Cayenne, built to weather the storm. Awesome. Rallycross. Apparently the Audi S1 EKS RX Quattro doesn't need a bonnet. Okay. I'm not sure if that's one of those pre-release glitches. I'm assuming it is because the real car in real life has a hood, but I guess we'll find out at release. Either way, awesome car. Very, very dominant rally car, sponsored by Red Bull in the WRX. Next up would be the Peugeot 208 WRX. This car is wheeled by the Hansen brothers, or was. I can't remember because it's been so long since this stuff's been going on. Amazing car, championship winning car and team there. That's great to have as well. Again, another WRX car, the Renault Mccann RS RX. 600 brake horsepower. It's a little bit heavier than the other cars. It is all-wheel drive though. Amazing car as well. I love this. That's a beautiful, beautiful car. Oh yes. The Subaru WRX STI RX Supercar, which was ran in the Global Rallycross Series here in the US, as well as the American Rally Association Series here in the US. I love it. I'm a Subaru head. You guys know this, or most of you know this, so I will definitely be driving that often. The infamous Rally GT, starting with the Aston Martin V8 Vantage GT4. It just wouldn't be a dirt series without a 450 brake horsepower, rear-wheel drive, street car rallying. That's fantastic. And to see the Fiat Barth 124 Rally, basically in a Barth Spider, this is good to see. It's a very well-balanced car, 296 horsepower, super, super light. That could be a really, really good car to use. Next up would be the Ford Mustang GT4. It wouldn't be an American car if it didn't have over 500 horsepower with rear-wheel drive. That's going to be interesting to drive. That thing is like, that hood is as long as an Aston Martin's. Yeah, that wing looks fantastic on the back of this car. That's going to be fun to drive as well. Lots of horsepower, holy cow. One of the best handling cars of all time, the Lotus Exige, but this is the RGT Rally. Rear-wheel drive, 345 brake horsepower rally car in a Lotus. That could be the best GT car in the game. I'm calling it right now. The Lotus Exige RGT Rally is the best rally GT car in the game. Guaranteed. Porsche 911 RGT. You can't go wrong with the 911 in my opinion. It's one of my favorite cars of all time. One of my dream cars is the 911 GT3, so this right here, that definitely tickles my fancy there. I like that a lot. Next up, Rock Bouncer. Literally, this thing is built for one thing, and that's to drive over stuff, including your Volkswagen Beetle. It actually looks like a Beetle now that I'm thinking about it. This is a rock crawler. It drives over rocks, big ones. Interesting to see what that's going to do in this game, though. Oh, this is cool. Have these little sprint cars is awesome. So this is the Jupiter Hawk 410 rear-wheel drive, 900 horsepower, guys. 900. In something that weighs 640 kilograms. This car is going to be a lunatic. It will send you sideways every single time you flip the steering wheel. That's cool. Next up for the super light series, we've got the Ariel Nomad. Everyone knows the Nomad. It's a rear-wheel drive off-road buggy type, 235 brake horsepower. That's pretty cool. Even cooler though is the Aerial Nomad tactical vehicle. It's got cool rally lights on the top, probably more suspension travel, and of course a big spare tire on the back. That's going to be cool. I'm eager to drive that. It has 50 more horsepower than the regular Nomad, so that'll be fun. Blitz World, the Beast. This is basically just a go-kart on wheels. 140 brake horsepower. That's probably a Honda lawnmower engine back there. That could be fun. Next up would be the Brenthel Industries Class 10. A lot of us already know what the Class 10 is from other games and driving it off-road, but it's again a fun rear-wheel drive buggy, 230 horsepower, gonna be fun to drive. Another car we know from other racing games, the Exomotive Exocet Off-Road. Cool little buggy, way too much power with way little weight, 676 kilograms, rear-wheel drive, 252 brake horsepower. That could be fun to drive too. Oh yes, the bane of my existence. I'm getting Dirt 4 flashbacks. The Speed Cart. It's insane. The tires are the size of a Power Wheel. It's got 125 horsepower and it weighs 300 kilograms. The car, I don't even want to call it a car. The cart is crazy, but fun. Next up, the Unlimited category. We have the Brenthel Industries Class 1 buggy, significantly more horsepower than the Class 10. With 230 brake horsepower, the Class 1 has 640 brake horsepower. That is a proper off-road beast. It's even got a jack, just in case you need it. Last but not least, it's basically a stadium truck, the Brenthel Industries Unlimited truck. Rear-wheel drive, massive horsepower at 1100 brake horsepower, but it's a big, heavy pig, 2,250 kilograms. I will be making a stadium truck race in this Playgrounds feature, so make sure and stay tuned to the channel. As I said in the beginning of the video, please be sure to subscribe. I try to release multiple videos every week. I will be releasing as much Dirt 5 stuff as I can to you guys, as many times per week as possible, and I may even try to do a stream on Twitch. I'm not sure yet. I don't like streaming on Twitch necessarily, but I may try it. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Like I said, please leave me a like, a positive comment. Also, what car are you most interested in driving? Me personally, it's going to be that Subaru. I'm going to have to drive this bad boy around all the time. Yeah, let me know in the comments section below. But that's it for me. Until the next video, I'm Connor Speed 6. Much love, everyone. See you soon.